everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Absurd Arguments, a podcast where two friends talk about things in an argumentative fashion. My name is Matthew, and I'm here with my good friend Nathan. And Nathan, it is summertime.
It is finally, but honestly, it's been kind of overcast and rainy over here in Texas. So it's been kind of an odd summer so far.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it over here in Texas as well. It has been pretty cool. I think it's gotten up to 90 once. But dude, there was a string of a couple days where it was in the 60s in, mid-May, and everybody's like, "What's going on? What's happening?"
Yeah, it's kind of terrifying. It's like we don't usually just have good weather. It's usually very, very hot or very, very cold.
Mm.
Yeah.
But we're not here to talk about the weather. We're here to talk about something that is
somebody involved with weather.
I mean, we're talking about does involve weather in some cases, but in this episode, we are going to address We've gone on record and talked about how big of nerds we are, considering that our book genre tournament came down to our winner of sci-fi fantasy. So obviously, superheroes are up our alley, but we're going to talk about specific things. But before we get into that, Nathan, you've got a little game for us to play.
Yeah. Are you familiar with the monkey's paw concept?
Yes.
Okay, so for those of our listeners who may not know, the way this works is somebody says something, like a wish or whatever, and your wish is granted, but there's a huge negative attached to it. So I thought we could do this super-powered themed, all right? Matthew and I will take turns, and one of us will say the superpower we now have, and it doesn't have to be your traditional superpowers, okay? While the other person comes up with either a really bad weakness we now have or something negative attached to that. So, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it's a lot like the super fight game that we played with our friend Josh.
Sure, but without Josh here.
Without Josh, unfortunately.
So, just us. Rest in peace. Nah, he's okay. I just want him to have a good night's sleep.
He's not dead. He's just busy.
He's just a busy guy, All right. So I'll start off. I'll say my new superpower, and then you come up with my weakness or something negative with it.
Sure.
Okay. My superpower is anytime I'm holding an empty bowl, I can stomp my right foot on the ground 3 times, and it will immediately fill with fresh movie theater popcorn.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's your weakness.
Okay.
Every time you stomp your foot, your right leg gets 1/4 of a millimeter shorter.
Oh gosh. Oh, the price I have to pay for movie theater popcorn.
So I've got a buddy I went to high school with, and he absolutely loves movie theater popcorn. And so whenever COVID hit, and the Cinemark that was local was offering, you could come in and buy popcorn. Like, he walked away with like garbage bags filled with movie theater popcorn. Like,
what a champ.
Yep. So I can just see him, if he had the superpower, he wouldn't even have a right leg. It would probably be gone.
He's immediately has to get a stump,
Right. And even the stump decreases in size, so he has to continue to buy prosthetic legs year after year after year.
Yeah. Hey, a worthy price to pay, I think. I like popcorn a lot too.
I don't know how expensive prosthetics are, but I can only assume that movie theater popcorn isn't that worth it.
If pirates can get away with just a wooden peg leg, so can I.
Mm, that's fair. That's fair.
All right. Okay, well, what's your first superpower?
My superpower is as long as I can see something, someplace, I can immediately teleport there.
Okay. Um, Gosh, I'm just gonna go with the easiest one with this. You teleport there, but your clothes do not.
Oh gosh.
I'm sorry. It was just the first thing that came to mind. It's the most simple approach.
Hey, you know
Oh,
what, man? Here's I'm gonna say here's the benefit. Let's say I've gone out, had a lovely dinner at a Mexican restaurant, and as soon as I get home, it hits.
yeah,
All I have to do is open my bathroom door and just look at the space right in front of the toilet. I don't even have to unbuckle my belt, anything like that, because it's already gone and off. So
yeah.
that's probably the only good thing about this is if I have to use the bathroom, it has now made that process a million times better.
Exactly. It's a perfect power and weakness combo for those with IBS. You're right. Um, Here's my next one. Um, for me, I want the superpower where if I'm sitting down in front of my TV or whatever, I can use telekinesis to bring the remotes, the TV remote or the PlayStation controller or whatever I need to my hand, so I
Mm,
don't get up and grab it.
okay, here's the monkey's paw. One of the batteries is always going to fall out of place.
Dang it!
So every time you try to use it, I mean, the battery's not even connected, so you have to flip it over, open it up, and push it in, which means eventually, Nathan, you're going to have done that so many times that the little back panel is just going to fall off because you've loosened it so much that the
Right.
batteries will just fall out and you have to buy a new remote.
You know what? Honestly, you could have gone really bad with that, but you've made my mildly convenient superpower with very mildly inconvenient annoyance. Like it really is perfect.
That's what I'm trying to do. Anything, I don't want to just like, every time you use it, a child dies. Like, okay,
Yeah.
that's a bit extreme. I just I want to hit it with the mildly infuriating thing that down the line you're just like, I can't keep doing this.
Well,
Just
yeah,
can't.
that makes sense. All right. Well, what's your next
Um.
one?
All right, so I'm gonna take this from the Very Odd Parents,
Okay.
and that was Timmy's dad wanted the superpower of meat vision, which means sausage, bacon, whatever he like would come out of his eyes, and he could have just a plate of bacon whenever he wanted.
Hmm. Okay. So so you can just at any time you want have meat come out of your eyeballs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um hmm. You can have this power. It's just that every time you use it, an attractive girl walks by and just kind of looks at you in disgust, just a little bit.
You know what? It's not any different than life right now.
She doesn't say nothing or nothing. It's just anytime you do it, just the timing always coincides with a hot girl coming by, and she just like goes, ugh. That's it.
If I'm, trying to impress a lady, and the only thing that she can muster up is that's kind of gross, then
Mm-hmm.
it's probably not worth it in the long run. Because,
I
like,
thought,
I don't have to worry about getting up early and cooking breakfast. I can just meat vision there, plate
yeah,
of bacon.
that is kind of perfect. Or hey, here's a steak late at night or whatever.
Mm,
Yeah, just I don't know. Um, yeah, I think I'm gonna go with a traditional um superpower.
okay.
Maybe. I would like super strength.
Okay.
And I'm invincible to pretty much invincible. My muscles are bulking huge, and I'm impervious to damage and able to punch things really hard. I have super strength.
Okay. All right. You have super strength, but every time you lift something that's going to cause your muscles to really, strain, the heaviness of the object slowly decreases over time.
Okay.
So let's say you've used this to lift up entire cars, and that's
Yeah.
what you do. This whole time you're just moving cars that way. There's going to come a point where you can no longer lift a car. And
Oh.
this doesn't just stop there. This gets to the point to where it's you're going past the strength that you have, and it means you're going to wear yourself down so much that you are literally not going to be able to lift anything, including yourself, out of bed.
Oh. Oh. Okay. Well,
So
gosh.
because you're going so far past your limit that's eventually going to run out, and it's just going to
Yeah.
be you're going to just going to be a vegetable.
Okay. Cool.
Which, honestly
I thought it
speaking,
was.
probably going to happen anyways.
Shut up. I. It was like I thought where you were going with that was every time you pick something up, your knees shake and wobble a little bit so you look silly, you
Nope.
know?
Nope.
But yeah, yours was way worse. Gosh. Okay, your turn.
All right. I am impervious to hot food,
Hmm.
which means
Oh,
like no matter the temperature, if I try to eat it or even hold it in my mouth, I don't feel anything and it doesn't hurt.
okay. So now, what are you when you say hot food? Do you mean spicy food or temperature hot?
Like temperature hot, like pizza.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
gotcha. Okay, so you're impervious to hot food.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um. Hmm. Okay, because you're impervious to hot food, you are extra sensitive to cold food. So, ice cream, immediately, as soon as it hits your mouth, you're doing that hot, 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 hot thing you would normally do for very hot food. It has that burning effect that hot food normally would have for you.
Oh my gosh.
Um, and brain freezes hit you immediately and not after you've eaten something really fast within a minute or so.
Oh
Immediately it
no.
hits you.
That's
So,
pretty bad because I love ice cream.
yeah, well, you shouldn't have said that I was going to become a vegetable when I was super strong. So, really sucks, huh?
Hey man, that's just how the monkey's paw curls, I guess.
I suppose so. Well, that does lead us to our episode proper, you know, which again is about superpowers, um, things like that. And uh, so, Matthew, are you ready to get started?
I am, so let us go ahead and cue the music. And Nathan, like, thinking
Hmm.
back, I actually had to read The Monkey's Paw um, when I was in high school,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, this is kind of gross. And then we watched, because that was Ernest Hemingway, right?
No,
Who was it?
I don't know. Let me look
I
it
don't
up.
remember. Because we watched, like, a live action version of that, and dude, that was
It's
more
a horror.
terrifying.
It's a horror story by W. Jacobs.
W. Jacobs.
Ernest Hemingway wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole.
I don't know. It
Not
was all sort of this. He's the same time period, I think.
No, this was published in 1902.
Oh,
Hemingway
never mind.
was after World War One.
That's
I'm just a
20
really big
years.
Hemingway fan, so
I know, but still. Um. Anyways,
dude, that story stars a guy named Herbert.
heck yeah. That's probably why it's so grotesque.
That's probably why it's so terrifying. And his name was Herbert.
Hey man, I just want to see my dead wife again.
Yes.
Mm.
Jeez.
All right. First thing we need to establish when it comes to any sort of superhero is the obvious. What
Mm-hmm.
is the most important part of being a superhero? And it is going to be public image.
Exactly.
And so there's two sides to this. You either have the Iron Man side or you have the Batman side. And that's
Right.
kind of what we're going with. Should you be more public with your superhero identity and like there is no difference between Tony Stark and Iron Man? Or are you going to Bruce Wayne it and try to just keep those things separate?
Yeah.
Nathan, first off, what side are you taking and how did you do your research?
We shouldn't even ask how we did research, Matthew, because we've just both watched and consumed a lot of superhero media.
Yep.
So honestly, we're just relying on what we know.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, my position is a secret identity is the best way to be a superhero,
Mm-hmm.
the most important. Now, I mean, I know you mentioned Batman, but probably one of the best examples is Peter Parker. You know, um,
Mm-hmm.
he has his secret identity as well as Spider-Man. So, there's a benefit. And even like with Civil War, Captain America Civil War, the movie, but that comic that was based on, I mean, that was the whole basis is, should we have secret identities or not? And Peter Parker finally revealing his was probably one of the biggest moments, in that.
Mm.
But what I'm going to say, I think, one, it's kind of cool, it's like those conversations you have with people where you know something they don't and you can ask them their thoughts on it.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, I would be asking people all the time if I was a superhero. Let's say my superhero name is Super Nathan. I would be like, what do you think of that guy, Super Nathan? He's always going around with that mask and stuff. And then I get to hear people's thoughts on my superhero duties. Um, Now, I could use this just for pride, just to boost my own ego, but I
Mm.
could also use it as a good research opportunity. Like, yeah, what does the public think, you know? And I could be an uninvolved third party, but psych, I'm actually that superhero.
So
So,
you're going to be Jesus asking his disciples, who do they say that the Son of Man is? Who do you
okay,
say that the Son of Man is?
okay. Well, no, I would not ever say I'm just like Jesus, you know. Um, so no, but yeah, I guess he did do that. Uh, I don't know. That's a cool conversation, man. You've really just recontextualized those verses for me. You know, I like it even more now.
Oh my gosh.
Um, Also, okay, you have a secret identity, you know, people don't get in your business as much. Yeah, you might have some people hate you, like the cops or news reporters or whatever, um, but they're not going to be in your business that much as long as you can get away from them and get home or to your secret lair or whatever. Um,
Mm.
and the third good point is your loved ones. If you have a secret identity, you know, it's harder for villains and stuff to be like, oh man, how do I get a hold of Super Nathan's, the people Super Nathan loves? You know,
Mm-hmm.
they just won't know because I'm just regular Nathan, not Super Nathan. So they won't come after my family.
Mm. So it really is a Clark Kent. All you have to do is take your glasses off, and you're a completely different person.
I mean, no,
Because
I
you're
my
just you're Super Nathan and Nathan. So that's really what this is.
okay, like, but this was just an example for me. But like, people wouldn't figure it out. Like, I
Sure.
mean, they would be like, man, Nathan, Super Nathan. Like, they'd look at me and they go, nah, he can't be Super Nathan. Because, like, Super Nathan would be amazing, dude. Like,
Mm.
men would want to be him, women would want to be with him. Like, it would be perfect.
Fish fear me, women love me kind of situation.
Yeah, exactly. You get it.
Well, Nathan, um, I disagree
Yes.
because I think it's just so much easier to just conflate all of that to just me. So
Yeah.
I don't I don't have to worry about all this and all that. Like my when I watched the Justice League TV show, my favorite character from that series was the Martian.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yep. And he didn't have to hide anything because he was an alien. And it's kind of
Right.
hard to walk around and hide green skin.
Oh, yeah.
But the idea of just being you, I think that's what, especially in our culture today, that's like the whole thing. And so
Mm,
how best are you going to express yourself and just go, look, this is me, like me or hate me, this is just how I am. Like, how do people do that best? It's by the people they look up to and in a way idolize, but more realistically, they just, that's someone they look up to and gives them courage to do things, which is what a superhero does. And to just
yeah.
stand up and say, look, you don't have to try to fit in, just be you. And dog, I will be making bank when it comes to advertisement deals.
Oh, for sure.
So it's
So,
not just I want to just, cut the middleman of just trying to hide myself. Dog, the money goes to me and I don't have to try to work around anything. I get paid and I don't have to
so,
try to do anything else.
so, like, are you gonna have like a Nike deal, but like instead of people buying Jordans, they're buying Matthews? You know?
No, no, no. I don't try to support companies that use sweatshops.
Oh, okay.
I
So you're
support
not gonna
Adidas.
have any project? Okay.
If anything,
Uh,
I'll just go to some, random country and
you,
start my own factory of and but pay them decently. Not
right.
well, but decently. Because I mean I still gotta make a profit somehow.
I going to Nike and Adidas, like, and I worked with internationals,
Mm-hmm.
and they refer to those companies as Nike and Adidas, and that just
Well,
seems wrong
Adidas
to
is the
me.
correct German pronunciation because that's where it's from, is Munich. Um,
Yeah, it's still wrong.
the reason it's called Adidas or Adidas is because one of the guys' name was Adolf,
Oh,
and
I know him. I've
didn't
heard of him.
not that guy is a different guy. This was after that other
Oh,
guy. How can I
really?
say that name on the internet and not get
Just like
blacklisted?
ruined. One dude ruined a name for everybody.
For real.
He's
I
like,
just
he's like, I can't wait to release my new sportswear company.
guy.
And then World War II happened, and he's like, change it to Adidas.
It's like the first three letters of the non guy's first name and then the last three letters of guy's last name. I gotta
Right.
stop saying that name.
It's okay, you know. We all have
I
our
don't.
favorite names to say, and it's unfortunate yours is an awful one.
I'm not Kanye West though, man.
Yeah.
um,
But you know what? You
but
are hood at
yeah.
heart.
uh, Folks, I don't know if we've told this story. If we have, you could skip ahead a couple minutes. But um, I worked at a school, and I was taking some students um, to a mall and to kind of hang out and on sort of like a field trip thing. And I'm working with this other guy. His name is Marcus, and he's this big black guy. And like I'm driving, so that means I'm also the DJ. And so I just throw on some of my rap songs that I have on my Spotify playlist, and the students go, "Mr. Matthew, I didn't know you liked rap music." And Marcus turns around and goes, "That's because he's hood at heart." And I was like, I don't know how I should feel right now.
Honored. Very honored.
I was quite happy, can't lie. Um,
Yeah. Every white guy's dream, let's be real.
every pasty, pale, nothing about him is not Caucasian.
Yeah.
Dang it, did
Aggressively
I just
white.
aggra- aggressively white? Uh, but yes, no, I think public image be darned. I am who I am. Nope, I can't say that because God said that.
Oh
Um,
gosh. Oh, look at us
oh
both
no.
saying things attributed to the Lord. Matthew, I
Actually, it
will
was me
say
both
this.
times.
I know it was you. At least you're fair. I will say if you have another benefit I thought of a secret identity, let's say the city is damaged in the great battle, whatever
Mm,
or whatever with your villain. My villain would be not Nathan. Um, Anti Nathan. He's against everything Super Nathan.
hmm
And so if we're in a battle and the city gets damaged, well, I have a secret identity. They're not going to bill me for it. You know, they'll be like, "Where's Super Nathan? You can't reach me
mm,
except through the light that you shine on top of the city hall." And so with my symbol, but with
hmm
you, with your public identity, they'll be like, "Yeah, you're on the hook for about a $2.7 million in damages in downtown." You know,
But see,
so
Nathan, because of all these great Adidas sponsorships that I have, I'll be able to hire some good lawyers.
uh-huh.
So
Oh, so
I
you're gonna
could just,
fight it so you don't have
I'm
to
just
pay
gonna
it?
kind of, I'm gonna just slip out the back while my lawyers handle it, kind of deal. You know, it's like, oh, there's a bank robbery,
Ah,
gotta go get it. You could
right.
talk to Johnson and Johnson Law Company for me.
Yeah. Or it might even challenge you to make sure that your crime fighting, you know, keeps other businesses at bay. I mean, like doesn't result in as much damage. That's what I mean.
Hmm. I don't know if I'm sticking with this brash character that I've created. Then I don't know if I will.
Yeah, I guess not. All right.
Anyways, hold on. Let me sniff real quick. All right, I'm done.
Gosh, I thought you were gonna do it right into the mic. I was
No
bracing.
way. Bro,
I
every
was so
time I mute
bracing.
myself, I'm either sniffing or coughing.
Dang, you're way better at this than me. I'm like, Matthew will edit it out.
Ugh. Anyways,
Okay.
so that
Hmm.
leads us to then the second question we're going to tackle, and that is, should you be a solo hero or have a sidekick slash be a part of a superhero team? So just work with other heroes. Um,
Yeah. What do you
I'll
think?
Yeah, so I think actually, not realizing that I was creating an extremely brash character, I think that we should work with other people.
I mean, you
And
can
I
as a brash character.
Yeah, because then they're gonna do all the work, and I get the money. I mean, credit. I mean, I save people.
Now, now wait a second. Okay, real quick. I mean, we've
Mm,
established that my superhero is Super Nathan versus
yep.
Anti Nathan.
Hmm.
What is your superhero name?
Oh, part of me wants to say hood rat, but that's gonna get me in a lot of trouble. Um,
Yeah, let's be realistic.
we'll we'll just. I mean, obviously it's gonna have to be Matthew because it's just who I am.
I mean, it doesn't have to be, but I mean, sure.
Let's see. No, then we'll just call it um Red Justice. Wait, no, is that
Oh,
already a thing?
maybe Ginger
No, that's
Justice.
no, that's just Big Justice. Never mind.
Yeah, yeah, Red
Yep,
Justice.
Big Justice. Do you know they
I
were?
like.
He's throughout the first pitch for a Texas Ranger game.
Oh no,
Yeah.
that that explains the season we've been having. Am I right? Am I?
Folks, if you listened to last episode, you're going to know that Nathan knows almost nothing about current sports. Um, but the one thing that he does know, because I continue to talk about it, is how bad the Texas Rangers are. So
Uh
you're
huh.
only right just because you only hear when I complain about sports.
That's true. Sorry.
Anyways, can we get 5 big booms for sports? Boom,
Boom!
boom,
Boom!
boom,
Boom!
boom, boom.
Boom!
Oh my gosh.
Man, I can't wait till we go forward 10 years and that's a distant memory.
Oh, it's going to be hopefully a distant memory by tomorrow.
Yeah. Anyway, you're going to have a sidekick and you're going to be part of a superhero team.
Like, this is something that was brought up in Infinity or Marvel Infinity War and Endgame.
Mhm.
Captain America gets old and dies. Like,
Wow. Yeah.
then Tony Stark, spoiler, I guess, for a movie
I
most
know.
people
I
have
was about
probably
to
seen.
say.
Um, Tony Stark sacrifices his life to preserve all of humanity. Like,
Yeah.
superheroes aren't immortal. I mean, even like Thor's dad, Odin, dies. So it's kind of like death is inevitable. And I can only be brash and arrogant for a certain amount of time. Eventually, my time's going to be up. So I've got to pass on my legacy to someone else because let's be
Yeah.
honest, without me, there wouldn't be much legacy because then crime is just going to, rise up again. So I've got to make sure there's at least someone else who can take my mantle. Now, this is like
Right.
the whole the animated series Invincible, to where
Yeah.
the main character, his dad, Omni Man, is that it?
Yeah, it's Omni
Which one
Man.
is? Okay, I get that, and the other one, what's the other nasty Amazon
Oh,
one?
Homelander from The
Homelander.
Boys.
Yes, not Homelander.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Mhm.
Ugh, that. Mm-mm. Anyways, but Omni, I mean, it's kind of the same deal for both of those guys. They both are just like
Yeah.
humanity sucks, and I'm just gonna end everything. Um,
Yeah. Something like
but
that.
but that's not how I am because I kind of like people because they give me money. Um,
See, Matthew,
so
Matthew, I like how you've created this brash, money grubbing character. Like you don't have to be that. You could be you as a
hey man,
public superhero.
I'm just living out my power fantasy as a paid minister.
I have brand deals.
People like me. They appreciate me.
I have a
Um,
sidekick.
but the other thing is like I am just one hero, so there's no
Yeah.
way Red Justice boom could ever just take care of all the problems. Like that's something that's dealt with in Superman comics and movies. Um,
Yeah.
which is why we have the Justice League, is why we have the Avengers, because I mean, I don't know what's going over on the other side of the world. I
Yeah.
can't be there. Um, so that's why I think it's important because, yeah, I know I'm the best, but I can't do everything. I can just do most things.
Right. No, I get that. I understand.
Hmm. So then why should you work alone?
I mean, it's just the edgier option, you know. If Matthew, if I have a tragic backstory, I
Sure.
it it will be I'll be unable to be around other people, you know. It
Hmm.
is going to turn me into either a recluse or a great solo fighter. Um, so like Batman,
Hmm.
until he gets sidekicks, is a pretty cool killer. Well, not a killer.
Nah,
He's a
dude,
pretty cool.
that man kills people.
No, he doesn't.
He totally gives people permanent brain damage.
Yeah. No, he's a cool solo guy. Okay, okay. Maybe I shouldn't focus on him. You've got people like the Punisher, and
Also kills people.
Dare. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Look, hey, Super Nathan, he's got to go outside the law a bit. That's why I've got my secret identity. The cops are not liking what Super Nathan has to do. You know,
Mm.
sometimes it's like those edgy things you see from a certain type of guy on social media, like
The Joker
sometimes
memes.
no 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 I'm thinking of the memes like sometimes the sheepdog has to take down the wolves.
Oh yes.
Like
And it's
that.
normally got some like really cheesy guitar riff playing in the background, like doon
Yeah.
doon doon doon
Or the
doon
home or
doon.
the
Oh wait,
Home
that's
Depot
the Home
theme or
Depot.
something. Yeah. So yeah, that's it. Um
Yep.
Also, okay, look, I'm gonna say this. Now I don't like Alan Moore, the writer. I think
Hmm.
he's a bit overrated. Um, and he likes the smell of his own farts a bit too much.
Hey Nathan, who's that
But
guy?
okay, he's the guy who wrote Watchmen, and in that one, I mean, one of the best lines is "Who watches the Watchmen?" You know,
Mm,
and so the whole group is, you know, maybe what happens if the team is bad and you're part of that team. You know,
mm,
um, but yeah, but Alan Moore did Watchmen and V for Vendetta. Um, I just like that he made a super popular character in Rorschach, in Watchmen, and then
mm.
like he was like, "I hate this character," and it's like his most popular one from that. So I do like that.
Mm.
Um, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, hey, look,
Just don't ask me.
sometimes, sometimes the team or the group is bad, or your sidekick turns evil. You know, um, or maybe even your sidekick can be kidnapped by the villain, and now you have to make a choice on whether to save them or save the city. You know, so
Mm.
it's tough.
Well, we already know the choice that Red Justice is going to make.
Boom, boom,
Boom! Hey, where's your sidekick? He went boom!
boom.
But he did
Hey,
it for you.
but
So
how's the
give me
city
money.
doing? How's the
The city
city?
is
Oh, it
saved.
also is. Boom.
Boom!
I was busy. I was busy at a brand deal meeting. It all went boom.
I got a new factory in Bangladesh.
And that's how I say it too. Bangladesh.
It's the correct pronunciation.
I refuse to say Bangladesh because I only talk about booms.
We're gonna go ahead and rename it to Boomladesh.
Boomladesh. I have enough money I can do that. Uh, I guess this leads us, since you can rename your own country and make it your base of operations if you so desire, this leads us
Mm-hmm.
to our last one, which is should you have a cool suit or should you have a cool hideout or secret lair? So, which one
Yes.
do you have, Matthew?
I have a secret layer because,
Ah,
I mean, yes, I'm brash, arrogant, all the things, but
yeah,
I do still need to get away and have some me time. So
of
that's why I
course.
have this secret layer. So that if people need me, but you're gonna be, busy, they're not gonna be able to find me anywhere. But I just have one question for you, Nathan.
Yeah.
What is so special about the suit?
I mean, it depends on your superpowers, either because there's two categories of what we can mean by a cool suit. Are you going to continue talking about how great secret layers are, or are we switching to me?
No, I can get to that later. I just want to know because this was obviously, like we've said this before, Nathan, you pretty much come up with all of our topics. I
Yeah.
find it very interesting that you're like, "Hey, do you want to look cool or live in a place that no one can get to you?" And it's like those are two very different ideas because normally they're similar, but this one's just like,
They are united
hey,
by the
not
word
like not even the
cool.
same category almost.
They're united by the word cool. You can have a cool secret layer, and you maybe could have a cool secret suit. I
Is
mean,
that really the
a
only
cool
thing that
suit. Doesn't have to be a secret suit. My bad.
secrets? What's the Emperor's new clothes? It's my new secret suit.
There's nothing there. You're just a streaker.
That's why you have a secret identity. It
Are you
reminds
sure that's
me.
just Super Nathan? That's just Nathan.
It reminds me of the time. I think it was the Justice League show where I think it's Lex Luthor who eventually gets inside like the mind or body of the Flash, and he goes, "Finally, I can figure out who this is." And so he takes his mask off in front of a mirror, and he goes, "I have no idea who this is."
Yeah. Okay, okay. Here's my thinking of suits. They're in two categories. Either a suit is cool because of how practical it is, like how cool it is. So I would put under this the Fantastic Four suits adapting to each one of their bodies and superpowers. That's pretty
Hmm.
cool. Iron Man, his suit is cool. It's got a lot of toys and trinkets to it, a lot of weapons and things like that. The suit that Iron Man gifts to Peter Parker in those Spider-Man movies, the Marvel ones. I mean, it's pretty cool. It gets these little
They're
spider
all
legs.
Marvel movies.
Okay, yeah. In that case, relax. I will switch. Theirs are cool because hey, they're practical and they look kind of cool. But
Hmm.
if you want a suit that looks super cool, I'm thinking of like Spawn. You know, like
Mm.
like a jagged cape that goes on for days. Like
Yep.
that is super cool looking and terrifying, or Rorschach with his shifting face mask thing and he looks like an old 1940s detective. Like that's super cool. But then, Matthew, you have the coolest suit of all time, which is a mixture of both of those, which is Batman's suit, which can
Hmm.
look terrifying but also be extremely pragmatic and really
Mm.
cool with all the bells and whistles he has on it, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
So now, yes, we're all aware of The Incredibles with stupid Edna Mode going, no capes, she's, that's just dumb. That was just a childish movie. It was anti cape propaganda. She's very
Wow.
wrong. Capes are cool. And that's why I think The Incredibles suits kind of lame. I'm not a fan. They're not cool.
Well, Nathan, there's actually an in-universe reason for why she said no capes because so many superheroes died because of them.
Yeah,
Like
and
it not in fights, in like trying to save people, just doing normal things, and just the wind grabs the cape and they die. Like there's a practical reason for that.
see, but sometimes there's a price to pay for being cool. That's what I'm gonna say.
The
You
ultimate
know,
price.
uh, you miss out on the discount on Chick-fil-A's free sandwich day.
The Bible says, "Why gain the whole world and lose your soul?"
Oh
why
yeah, that one.
why gain so many great superpowers but you end up dying because the cape? Like
Yeah.
sometimes the cool suit isn't worth it. But you know what is worth it?
Hmm.
The cool secret layer. Because it's one of those things that it doesn't have to be flashy. It just has to fit your style, your functionality, and the only person that's going to like it is you, because you're the only person there anyways. So you don't have to
That is a
try to
good
figure
point.
out the biggest curb appeal or what's going to get the most likes on social media. This is just simply what you like. And that is probably the most rewarding part, is because it's just you. You don't have to try to impress
Yeah.
anyone, because I mean, let's be honest, everyone's pretty impressed with Red Justice anyways. Um, so
Boom.
he, boom.
Hey, I will, like, I know you're saying you don't have to impress anybody, it's just for you. I'm going to push back against that because there are times when you can impress people by having such a private secret lair that you could
Hmm.
bring a girl over to see the secret lair and she'll be like really enthralled, you know?
Yeah, but
So you could impress people with it.
now, no, I'm gonna push back, because when did Batman ever do that?
In the Telltale Batman game, there's a chance where you can take Catwoman down to the secret lair
Okay,
and
so
she gets to
one,
see the Batcave.
but you can also say no, I
Superman also
assume.
has those moments. Look, Superman also does that with the Cave of Solitude. I
Yep.
think he probably brings what's her face there, Lois Lane. He probably brings her there or
Yeah,
something.
good old what's her face. No,
Yeah.
Nathan, I'm not going to do that, because the whole brash and arrogant thing is just a ploy, anyways, because I'm terrified of other people. So I put on this
Oh,
big show, and then I go home and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so peopled out, man. I just need to be alone for a little bit.
so yours really would be like a cave of solitude, like a
Yeah,
secret
for
layer of
real.
solitude.
Yep.
Hmm.
I would call
Okay.
it, I'd simply just call it isolation.
My introvert recharging chamber, the IRC, the IRC.
Oh my gosh.
Uh,
The uh,
you know,
I walk in.
have you?
I walk in, and it's like, "Hey, how's my my robot attendant's like, hey, how's the boom?" And I just go, "Shut up." Thank you for the cold glass of milk.
Oh, that's great. Nothing I want more after a long day of fighting crime than to come home, tall glass of milk waiting for me.
Hey, man, it's the
Uh,
simple things in life.
it's part of your new Got Milk ad campaign that you're doing. They pay you gallons of milk.
Yep. I bought a farm in Wisconsin. No, yeah, Wisconsin. And so
Mm-hmm.
I have a dairy factory now, and it's just got all the red justice, and we do the strawberry justice milk, um, that everybody liked when they were in elementary school, and then when you grew up and got taste buds, you realize this is utter crap. um,
Utter.
Pun not intended, but now am
Uh huh.
intended retcon. um,
Yeah.
and so I've got my face on the milk carton, and it's
Right.
just like I'm sick and tired of seeing my face everywhere.
You just look at the milk carton in disgust when it's empty, and you just crumple it up and throw it to the ground.
Yeah, that's the real red
Meanwhile, I'm
justice.
prowling the roofs. I'm prowling the roofs in my super sick looking costume with a cape that's like 20 feet long, and it just billows on its own. Like it's constantly billowing. I don't have to do anything.
Someone is going to step on it, and like
Yeah.
someone ruining a wedding, you're gonna like fall back like a bride with a her
No,
train is too long
it's
and just
cool.
ruins everything. And that's what it's going to be.
There's part of my superpowers is the ability to constantly have a light breeze going at all times, so my cape's always moving in the air. It's never dragging on the floor or the ground. No one can step on it.
All right, Shaggy only using 6% of his power. Gosh,
That's
that
one of my
meme's
more
so
minor.
old.
It is an old meme. That's one of like my minor powers. Always has a light breeze going at all times.
I'm never hot because I'm always got a cool breeze going by.
Oh,
But when I go to a cold place, I'm freezing to death always.
hence the need for the super big cape.
I wrap it up, and now it's a big old blanket.
Matthew, you know my love for old movies and old film directors and stuff. Um,
Yep.
one of my favorites is Orson Welles, and he
Mm-hmm.
had this sort of documentary called F is for Fake, where he pretty much interviewed an art forger,
Mm-hmm.
and but anyway, in that movie, he wears a pretty sick looking cape. Dude, it took all my self control not to immediately look up how to get a good looking cape like that. Like, if it was up to me, man, I'd be walking around with a cape all the time.
You know what, Nathan?
Hmm.
Be yourself because that's the red justice way.
Right.
Don't let anyone stop you from being you. Just go out there and be unashamedly you.
Thanks, man. I needed that.
Thank you. That'll be $50.
Okay.
Well, as soon as Nathan hits me up on PayPal with that, we'll go ahead and take a quick little break and go ahead and cue the music. Well, Nathan, since it is the summertime, we are getting close to the end of season 3. I think.
Right.
Is this season 3? Yep, we're getting
I
close to
don't.
the
Yeah.
end of season 3 of Absurd Arguments. And I mean, this is just the time that we are fully invested in just trying to get our name out there. So, how in the world, Nathan, can we better publicize our podcast?
Didn't expect to be guilt tripped. Oh, you want me to talk about our socials?
I mean, that could work too.
You I don't know, Matthew.
It's like, hey,
I
we
could
really
tell
need to
more
we
people.
really need to like get our podcast try to advertise it more. I was like, all right, man, I'll let you do that. You've been trying to do that for like 2 years and you still haven't done
Just
it.
I've just been I'm not a great marketer. I'm just scared.
That's why you wanted a secret
What
identity.
if what if people send us emails with cuss words in them, Matthew? You couldn't we couldn't handle it.
You couldn't handle it.
I could handle it.
Oh, sure. Sure.
Look, until one of us figures out how to market our podcast, which which should be me. You can find us on the internet at places like Instagram, Facebook, Threads for some reason. Um, at Absurd Arguments. And we also have an email, absurdargumentsforyou@gmail.com. That's absurd arguments, the letter 4, the number u @gmail.com.
Yep. And we've also recently added Blue Sky to our list of No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Gosh. Dude, I was about to get mad. I was like, why was I not informed?
Why was I not informed?
Why was I not told?
No, like I said, we wouldn't touch Twitter or X. Blue Sky, no, not even going over there.
Right.
People would be even more mean and bullies to us because we like this, because we said Jesus in our episode and Adolf.
No. Yeah, you'd be canceled. Maybe we should be on there.
Nah, I'm good. But that brings us to the end of our episode. And Nathan, I normally give you the opportunity to have the final thought, but you know what? This time I'm going to take the final thought.
Okay. Wait, do I get to not say anything, or do you want me to say, okay, Matthew, do you have any? Because I mean, I want to say at least.
Okay, sure. You can say
I won't have the final thought. I won't take the final thought.
Okay.
Folks, I hope this episode helped you in your dreams to be a superhero. You know, you don't have to be a superhero. You can be a hero in your own life, whether that's alone or with people in a cool secret lair or wearing a cool cape. You can be a hero. So, Matthew, do you have any final words that you'd like to say to the people before we go?
Please share this podcast with your friends. 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 I don't know what else to do. I don't know. I don't want to spend money. I don't have money. That's why my power fantasy is brand deals.
Bro, I literally just thought you were going to say boom, boom.
Boom! Oh, that'll do it for us in Absurd Arguments, and we will see y'all in the next one. 5 big booms for this episode. Boom! 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 Boom!
Boom! Boom! Goodbye, everybody.